Hello and welcome to Great Asian Mysteries, a Mike original where we talk about baffling and mysterious crimes committed in real life. I'm your host, Zito Khan, and today we're tackling our very own top G of serial killers, the most notorious one of Pakistan. Now, this story starts in the humble little city of, I'm kidding, it's not humble, but a bustling city that's known for its culture and all the happenings, Lahore in Pakistan. Now, these are the 1990s. Everything was great, the music was on the rise, and the culture was great, but so was the culture of serial killers. And one man rose above the ranks. Yes, we're talking about Mr. Javed Iqbal. Now, Javed Iqbal was born in 1956 in a quite wealthy family. He had a great thing going for himself, but then his life took a very, very dark turn. Among his years, when he was an adult, he chose a path of something we don't really openly discuss as much. But he went down the path of killing innocent people. It all started when he was accused by the police that he's a homo and that he lures children and that he's into children and all these things. And this really lit up a bulb in his head, and he said, you know what? I'm gonna do something that none of you could even think about. I'm gonna do something that's gonna make you regret talking about me in that way. In December of 1999, he casually walked into a newspaper office and handed in a letter. And in the content of that letter, it revealed horrifying details and confessions about what he had done. Now, in his primitive years, what he did was he lured children that were poor and had no means with food, water, luxury into his house. And he would specifically target them because he knew they were weak and they would immediately jump to the conclusion. I mean, if you give a dying man, blood or something, he would be grateful. You give a hungry person food, they're going to do anything that you want them to do. So he used that mentality, he used that tactic to lure the children in, and he would not only kill them, he would sexually abuse them, he would torture them, and then once their body was lifeless, he would douse them in acid to completely remove everything. Nothing but a soul that just departed from the earth. And he did that to over 100 kids. And the fact that it went unnoticed is baffling. No one knew about this until he himself confessed, which is kind of more worse than his actions. I mean, the fact that he had to let people know that, hey, I just killed over 100 kids, where are you at? That speaks volumes about our city. It speaks a lot about our system, the justice system itself, and the way people are vigilant, or I would say not as vigilant here. It's very alarming. And cases like these happen all the time. It's just the fact that you don't care as much. You don't look into things. There's no structure, and things like these keep on happening. It's messed up. Well, back to the point. What was the motivation again? The fact that they called him a homo? Yes, that was one. But then there was one more thing that's rather hidden sometimes, but in some articles it does come up. It was the fact that he did lure this one child into the woods and he was planning on doing something very bad with him, but the kid acted smart and he hit him in the face with a rock. And that rock damaged his face and there was a scar, there was a whole bruise. And when he went home, his mother saw it and she grew concerned. That moment of concern struck something at him. It struck a chord in his mind.
My mother is in distress. Know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make over 100 moms feel the way my mom just felt.
How am I gonna do that? I'm gonna be malicious. I'm gonna do things that are indescribable to over 100 kids in our city. And people are gonna do nothing but mourn over it. And that is what he did. Eventually the investigations came in, people were looking over it, and it came out that yes, he indeed did lure them in. And in his room, where he would do all these things, the walls would be covered with paintings and letters and it's weird, and everything would be so detailed. He would talk about the things he did, the way he abused them, the way he touched them, the way he mutilated the bodies, the way he would give them acid baths and just completely douse them in it. It's horrifying. And I can only imagine what people there felt, especially the cops or even civilians who had a chance to look at it. I can't even imagine how they felt when they had a first-hand look at whatever was touched them, the way he mutilated the bodies, the way he would give them acid baths and just completely douse them in it. It's horrifying. And I can only imagine what people there felt, especially the cops or even civilians who had a chance to look at it. I can't even imagine how they felt when they had a first-hand look at whatever was happening. The fact that no one knew until he confessed, it's more alarming. Eventually, he was, thrown into jail, and before his sentencing, which was going to happen in 2001, before the sentence could be complete and the official statement could have been made, he was found dead in his jail cell. I mean, he really did have an ego problem as well. Not only did he do something unthinkable, he also took his own life. He could not have or give anyone the power to do what he did not want them to do. He made sure that he took every decision. He made his own fate. And that just shows the kind of person he is, the way he really believed he was in control. That speaks a lot. And in terms of inspiration, the only thing that we can think of when it comes to Javed Iqbal is Jeffrey Dahmer. Because the same way before him, like 2 decades ago, well, 2 decades ago from 1999, he would also lure in unsuspecting children, teenagers, young adults. Like, the spectrum goes a little higher, but he would lure them in from the clubs or sometimes from the pavement and seduce them a bit, make them watch movies or whatever, and then kill them very slowly and then throw them in acid. So you can see the parallel, you can see the similarity, but then cases like these have happened everywhere else. And they've happened in India. The movie Sector 36, it highlights that. And there have been cases everywhere, not just Asia, Europe, America. There are people who are so messed up and have their screws loose. That's that. And there have been cases everywhere, not just Asia, Europe, America. There are people who are so messed up and have their screws loose that they, lure innocent people and they douse them in acid. At this point in the serial killer world, in their community, it's a trend. Like, what kind of serial killer are you? I'm gonna go the Dahmer way. Which is so messed up to even think about, the fact that it's a trend on its own. And there was also a movie which came out recently, and Javed Iqbal was played by none other than Yasser Hussain. And his depiction was actually pretty accurate. It was pretty good. The movie itself did not highlight the gruesome brutality and the details of it, because obviously we do live in Pakistan, and here we can't go above a level to show a level of realism. But the fact that it was still tackled and the film was, we can't go above a level to show a level of realism. But the fact that it was still tackled and the film was made at all is an achievement, but also a good way of making people aware of what's really happening in our society and how we should be careful and we shouldn't let details go unnoticed. If something seems off, if a person around you, a neighbor, a friend even, they seem odd, they're acting weird, something is a little unhinged, look for it. If something seems off, if a person around you, a neighbor, a friend even, they seem odd, they're acting weird, something is a little unhinged, look for it. Alert the authorities. If they're not doing anything, battle up together, gather all your friends, gather people that are responsible, who have some level of authority, take action. Because if you're not gonna do that, you're letting bad things happen. And it could be unintentionally on you. Be aware and, make sure that your surroundings are safe. So what does this case teach us? Well, especially for parents, it teaches them to be more vigilant and be more self-aware of your children and their whereabouts. Do not let them go anywhere that you don't know about, and do not encourage them to be out at night late or just hang out with random people. Make sure you know who they're friends with, who they're communicating with, and what their surroundings are all about. Because if you don't, I hope to God not, things like these can happen. And you don't want your child to run into a weird guy with a sweater in the summer with mustache and glasses. That's not a good sign. Do not do that. Because the more vigilant you are, the more cautious things can be, and the more you can take care of your kid. And not just kids, this can happen to anybody. It could happen to any bystander. So everyone, be self-aware. Do not go in dark alleys. Do not befriend any random person. And if your gut tells you something is off, run. Do not think about the ifs and buts. Run, alert somebody, and get to safety. Because that's the most important thing. And this also teaches us that we should be a little more aware of our surroundings. Take care of yourselves and be good people. So this wraps up the case of Javed Iqbal in Great Asian Mysteries. Thank you so much for tuning in. Take care, be vigilant. I'll see you soon.